Here we go. Good evening. I'll call to order this public hearing on a resolution approving programs eligible for the Neighborhood Assistance Tax Credit Program. Can we have a roll call on Mr. Davidoff?
Good evening, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Councilor Blanks.
Present.
Mayor Cantor. Councilor Cortez.
Here.
Councilor Fay.
Present.
Councilor McGinnis.
Present.
Councilor Poland.
Here.
Councilor Walters.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Winograd.
Here.
Councilor Zdanowicz.
Here.
Thank you very much. Mr. Ledwith, can we hear about this?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor.
resolution?
Tonight's public hearing is an annual hearing we hold to approve programs eligible for the Neighborhood Assistance Act Tax Credit Program. I'll have our Director of Leisure and Social Services, Helen Rubino Turco, join us at the podium to give a brief overview of this process that, as I said, takes place annually. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Helen Rubino Turco, Director of Leisure Services and Social Services for the town. As the town manager said, the Connecticut Neighborhood Assistance Act Tax Credit Program is it's a program through the Department of Revenue Services in the state, and it's designed to attract funding for tax-exempt organizations by providing a corporation business tax credit for businesses that make cash donations to these entities. And this is how it works. The nonprofit organizations who want to obtain the benefits under this program must complete a form. And they submit that form to the municipal agency that oversees the implementation of that, and that is our Department of Social Services. In West Hartford, our office then reviews the form for eligibility and correctness, if for want of a better word, and prepares to submit the form to the Department of Revenue Services on or about July 1st. Before we're allowed to submit the form, the state requires the town council to hold a public hearing, which is what we're doing right now, on all the program applications. The town council must vote to approve the programs, and then the town manager can submit the application from our town to the Department of Revenue Services. And once an organization is approved by the state, there's various statutory limits and regulations that they have to follow, and those are all on the DRS website. Our program this year, we had 6 applications from 5 different nonprofit organizations. You have the list, and you are welcome to learn more about them, or if you have any questions about them, I'm happy to answer. I do not see that anyone signed up to speak, but I can double check for you.
Thank you. Mr. Ledwith, do you have anything to add, or?
I do not, Deputy Mayor, but happy to answer any questions that the council may have.
Thank you. First, we'll ask Mr. Clerk, have we received any written comments?
Mr. Deputy Mayor, we have not.
And I understand there's anyone signed up on the sheet? Thank you. We do have some names of people, but we don't think they're for this hearing. Elizabeth Maurer, Nancy Jensen, and Eli Brandt. Was anybody intending to comment on this particular? As like you know, I see head shaking, which is what we expected. Thank you very much. We'll get you at the next round. So any questions from town council members for the manager? Yeah.
Thank you.
Councilor Poland.
Through you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. I think this is a wonderful program, and I just wanted to get a sense of, do we know which businesses are contributing to these programs, or is that not something that comes toward our town? Like, how does it work, I guess, as far as that goes?
From what I understand, we don't have anything to do with that. What I understand is these nonprofit organizations can now reach out to businesses that may want to support them either for a capital campaign or for this specific project that they've identified. So it just gives them an opportunity to get not just a federal tax credit for making a donation to a nonprofit, but also a state tax credit for these businesses.
Thank you. And through you, just as a follow-up, so essentially, these nonprofits get almost like a tax credit voucher that they're able to hand off to a business that's willing to help fund their submitted program? I guess I'm just still a little unclear on this piece.
The Department of Revenue Services offers this. So it is up to those nonprofits who have gotten a permission to offer this to then liaise with the businesses and the Department of Revenue Services.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think I
We
get
don't,
it.
the town doesn't play a role in that.
Yeah, no, I'm just, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? If not, we'll close the public hearing. Good evening. My name is Ben Winograd. I'm deputy mayor, chairing this meeting in the absence of Mayor Sherry Cantor, who's out of town and probably watching right now, so, because she's never very far away. But we'll call the meeting to order and start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, Mr. Davidoff.
Good evening, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Councilwoman Blanks.
Present.
Mayor Cantor. Councilor Cortez.
Here.
Councilwoman Fay.
Present.
Councilwoman McGinnis.
Present.
Councilwoman Poland.
Here.
Councilor Walters.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Winograd.
Here.
Councilor Zdanowitz.
Here.
Thank you, Mr. Davidoff. Before we begin the business portion of our meeting tonight, I understand the town manager would like to withdraw item 7A from the agenda. Mr. Ledworth, would you like to explain?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. By way of a little bit of history, as the council knows, back in 2023, we piloted a food waste and unit-based pricing pilot program in the Morley District. The pilot was deemed a success, with participating households reducing their waste by up to 50%. As a result of this program, we were recipients of a $1.5 million grant from DEEP to take the Morley program town-wide. The difference between the Morley program and the town-wide program is that the unit-based pricing component of the town-wide program would be mandatory, meaning residents would be using more than one bag per week would be required to purchase those bags at a price that we would determine. And in addition, there could be penalties assessed for non-compliance with the program. We discussed this program at our June 6th Public Works Facilities and Sustainability Committee meeting, and I had proposed bringing tonight's resolution to the council for a vote to receive that grant. However, because accepting this grant would require potential changes to our town code in order to establish penalties, fees, and enforcement mechanisms for residents not complying with the program, I'm asking to withdraw the resolutions so that we can bring back ordinance language that the council could consider. Should the committee recommend moving the ordinance language forward, this would require a public hearing at some future date, likely in the fall. I do want to take a moment to thank the Sustainable West Hartford Commission, many of whom are here this evening, and more importantly, the Waste Working Group subcommittee of that commission, who have volunteered countless hours of their personal time to this initiative, educating a large portion of our community on the importance of reducing waste. Through you, Deputy Mayor, happy to answer any questions that the council may have prior to withdrawing this resolution.
Thank you, Ms. Ledworth. Without objection, I move that item 7A be withdrawn from the agenda. I'm sorry, you're not in order, ma'am. Is there any objection? There being no objection, the item is withdrawn. Thank you, Ms. Ledworth. Next item on the agenda is proclamations. We don't have a proclamation tonight, but we do have a letter that I'm going to, from Sherry Cantor, but on behalf of the entire council, I'd like to read. And then we'll give the recipient of the letter an opportunity if you'd like to speak. So this is addressed to Garrett Flynn of the John G. Martin Foundation. Dear Mr. Flynn, on behalf of the town of West Hartford, please accept our deepest thanks to the John G. Martin Foundation for its generous gift of $75,000, which provided funding to the Department of Leisure Services to purchase and install a floating dock at Walcott Park and Westmore Park, as well as a waterside fishing dock at Spice Bush Swamp Park. The docks have been installed, much to the delight of park patrons. It is our understanding that Mr. Martin is an was an avid fisherman, so it's very fitting that his grant would be used for this purpose. Each location is unique and offers a different experience. Westmore Park serves as the environmental education center for the West Hartford Public School District, accommodating students from kindergarten to grade 5 annually. The introduction of a floating dock offers a practical, hands-on approach for students to safely engage in water exploration. Notably, the upcoming Feast on the Farm fundraiser, scheduled for September 27, 2024, will feature the John G. Martin Foundation as a key sponsor. Wolcott Park's dock is popular with families who want to fish or explore the pond, but also with elementary school children from nearby Wolcott Elementary and high school biology students from Conard High. Anglers of all skill levels and ages are drawn to Spicebush Swamp for an exciting fishing experience. The new platform enhances their enjoyment of the pond, which is also a designated trout park. We're really grateful for your support in improving our town's parks. They are a valuable escape for many people in our community. On behalf of the Town Council and the residents of West Hartford, we celebrate the invaluable pledge the John G. Martin Foundation has made to the community and mark this day as one that honors his commitment to our parks. Sincerely, Sherry Cantor, Mayor, Town of West Hartford. Thank you very much. And Mr. Flynn, if you'd like to make any comments, we'd appreciate that.
Do I press the button or are we good? No. So Mr. Martin died in 1986, and I guess some people would wonder how could a man who died in 1986 be paying for parks in 2024? Mr. Martin was a business leader in Hartford that ran Hubeline and really was the person who popularized vodka in America, along with other foods and beverages. Built an incredible company that employed a lot of people here in the area, and when he died, he said, life's been good to me, and I want to give back to a place that was good to me as well. And so his legacy lives on through his foundation, and I'm pleased to work with the other members of the foundation who are Donna Flamio, Linda O'Shaughnessy, Barbara Flynn, and Judge Laura Baldini to make gifts in his memory. And the town did a wonderful job, from the Town That Cares Foundation, which really was our first point of contact, to Leisure Services. And I guess I would just encourage anyone who feels it in their heart to give to this area. The town of West Hartford makes it super easy for that to happen. And we hope that these docks bring people a lot of joy and makes a town that's already spectacular even better. So thank you very much.
Letter for you?
Thank you very
And
much.
I would take,
Appreciate it.
here you go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Only one tonight. Sometimes we get a lot of proclamations. But that was very special, and I really appreciate you coming here and all your support for our town. Item 3 on the agenda is the public forum in which any resident or taxpayer of the town may address the council regarding any item on the agenda which is not otherwise subject to a public hearing. Before we begin the public forum, I would like to just briefly note that the item 7A has been withdrawn from the agenda, and so it's no longer a topic for discussion during public forum. As Mr. Ledwith said, we will be working more on this issue in committee and hopefully having a council debate on this issue in the near future, and that will be the opportunity for public comment on the issue. So again, if you are here to discuss the item 7A, please note that it is no longer on the agenda and is not available for discussion during public forums. Now we do have, we'll go to the list up first and then open it up to audience who would like to speak on items. Mr. Dodge, any more other than the ones I have here? No. So we did get 3 names, and again, we're not hearing about 7A, but if you have a comment on any other items on the agenda, we would like to hear it. Elizabeth Maurer. And please, when you do step up, please give your name and address for the record.
Certainly. Thank you so much. I'm Elizabeth Maurer. I'm at 10 Hickory Lane. And I'm hoping that, although I don't know that what I have to say necessarily speaks to one of the items on the agenda, that maybe my wonderful town councilors could tell me where to bring my thoughts. I have been living here for the last 9 years. My husband and I are raising our 2 children here, a boy and a girl, and they've always enjoyed playing in our backyard. Recently, we've had encounters with an unusual neighbor, a bear. At the beginning of this month, I had to tell my son, back away slowly, there is a bear just on the other side of the fence. Indeed, my 8-year-old son was not 10 feet from a bear who was eating from the neighbor's bird feeder. This neighbor told me in the past when I asked about possibly taking down his bird feeders in the warmer months, that he wouldn't give up his birds. Now, not everyone in West Hartford has to deal with bears.
I'm sorry, but,
Okay.
and it does become sort of an issue.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I understand, and we appreciate
Certainly.
you for being here. And we get emails all the time, and
Is that right?
that'd be really helpful if you could email. You can send it even to the entire council on one email, or you can talk to Mr. Ledwith, and he'll be very happy to kind of point you in the right
Thank you
direction.
very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Next on the list was Nancy Jensen.
My name is Nancy Jensen. I live at 65 Riggs Avenue in West Hartford, have done for more than 40 years, and I spent my whole professional career as a school psychologist in the West Hartford Public Schools, many, many years. I have a big investment in this town. There is nothing on the agenda that I can respond to, but I have concern about the process. Our town is a town that has been innovative and progressive and has been a draw for people from all over for the excellence of everything from the schools, from the amenities that we have. And part of what makes that possible is the volunteer programs that we have. We have had an extensive input from a considerable number of volunteers to work on something that has a high favorability rating among the residents.
Thank you, Ms. Jensen. And again,
The only time that we have as residents to address the town council to be heard is when there is an agenda item posted.
Ma'am, that is correct. We also have a process that we explained to somebody earlier today who we had to turn away because she was here to speak on an issue not on the agenda. And we did explain the process where one can be added to the agenda. So I really very much appreciate you being here and appreciate all your work. And again, there will be an opportunity, if this moves forward to another meeting, to comment on that before this
I will
would be
say one
passed.
thing. The
But
process undermines the social compact that we have.
I
for people to participate.
understand your view, ma'am, but again, we do have our rules, and we need to
Thank you.
follow them for everybody. Thank you very much.
I don't know how many of you are here to address this issue.
Next on our agenda is Mr. Brandt. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you for being here. Do we have anybody in the audience who would like to speak about an issue that is on the agenda? Not seeing any hands, we'll move on to item 4 on our agenda, which is the consent calendar. Without objection, I move that we place items 5A, 7B, 7F, and 10A on consent. Is there any objection? There being no objection, the items are placed on consent.
I move adoption of the consent calendar.
Second.
The motion is moved and seconded. All those in favor of the items on the consent calendar, please say yay.
Yay.
The items on the consent calendar are adopted. Next, we'll move to item 7C. Ms. Poland.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, I move that we adopt a resolution revising the schedule of fees for Cornerstone Aquatic Center and Veterans Memorial Skating Rink.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Mr. Ledwith, would you like to explain?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor, and as outlined by Councilor Poland, we are proposing to revise our Cornerstone Aquatic Center fees and Veterans Memorial Skating Rink fees. As the council knows, we look at these fees seasonally for our various programs offered by our leisure services and to keep up with the increase in operational costs. Driven in part by the increase in minimum wage this year, we are recommending a modest increase in various fees associated with both facilities that would become effective September 1st. We had a chance to discuss these fees in our Human and Community Services Committee meeting earlier this month, and I would ask that our Director of Leisure Services, Helen Rubino-Turco, join us at the podium to briefly outline some of those changes in fees. Thank you. Through you, Deputy Mayor, Ms. Rubino-Turco.
Thank you, Town Manager. As the Town Manager mentioned, we review our rates seasonally. Leisure Services offers a lot of high-quality, affordable programs through numerous facilities, and the Town Council governs some of the fees that we do charge. You may recall that we reviewed spring and summer programs in January. The proposed rates that we're looking at now are indoor facilities, primarily in the fall and winter programs. The proposed fee increases at both Cornerstone and Veterans Memorial Skating Rink would help cover the operational costs, particularly in part-time payroll. The minimum wage increase is a significant driver in operating costs at these two facilities. It went up on January 1st, 2024, and we expect it'll go up again on January 1st, 2025. And this increase affects the majority of the employees at these two facilities, whether they're lifeguards or skate monitors and that sort of thing. It's important to note that both facilities are doing well, but we always keep our eye on the operational costs. First, we research equivalent facilities in the region. We want to see how we can make adjustments to the fees so that we can cover operating costs while still remaining competitive. We adjusted the Cornerstone membership rates last fall, and we're not making any proposed changes to those membership rates. The only change is to some program fees in the area of swim lessons. Demand for indoor swim lessons are increasing, and swim lessons are labor intensive, particularly the one-on-one or the small group lessons. And even with the proposed changes, we are still below comparable facilities, so we feel that we're in a good place. There are three kinds of swim lessons at Cornerstone. There's the group swim lessons, private swim lessons, and semi-private lessons. And the increases are very modest in these areas. For the group swim lessons, the per class cost goes up by 83 cents. So it goes from, for a class of 6 sessions, it goes from $85 to $90. So that goes from like $14 to $15 for members. And we also have a fee increase for non-members. In the region, rates for group lessons per person typically runs between 15 to 30. So by charging 15, we're well within that sweet spot. We've also seen an increase in demand for private and the semi-private lessons. Those would go up $2 per class, $1 per class for each of the people in the semi-private. So it's pretty modest changes. Are there any questions so far? And now I'll turn to Veterans Skating Rink. Veterans Rink is always busy. We propose a $1 increase in the admissions per session. We haven't raised rates since 2020, before the pandemic. It was January 2020. And since that time, minimum wages increased at least 20%. So that would be going up $1 from 6 to 7 for resident, child, adults, and military, and from 7 to 8 for non-residents, and so on. The skate rentals would also increase by $1. Right now it's $4, it would go up to $5. This hasn't changed since, and I did have to count on my fingers and toes, since 2005, so it was 19 years ago. This change would bring VMSR to the same skate rental rate as our other regional rinks. I just wanted to tell you that the rink rents an astonishing number of skates per year, 12,000, more than 12,000 skate rentals per year. So they're very popular. And the rink, as I said, is always busy. It's a regional destination. A lot of, some of the neighboring towns that had rinks have closed. So there's no such thing as an off-season rate anymore. There's no such thing as an off-season anymore. It's all on all the time. So we're changing, we're eliminating the off-season rates, and we're just going to use the full sheet of ice would be split between prime time and non-prime time. As you can probably imagine, for a municipal skating rink, prime time is from 4 p.m. till about 9 p.m. weekdays and all day on the weekends. And then the non-prime time, of course, is from like 9 to 4, and then after in the afternoon, and then after 9 o'clock at night. And that's Monday through Friday. And we feel that the operational and financial impact is based on what we've seen in the last year. The proposed price increase would generate an additional $17,000 to $18,000 per year at Cornerstone, and between $58,000 and $60,000 at the skating rink. And these funds, as we have said several times, would help offset known increases in operational costs. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ms. Rubino-Turco. Ms. Poland, your committee, if you have any comments.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. I think that these fee increases are a reasonable balance that helps us achieve fiscal sustainability without too much of an added burden on residents of West Hartford and other users, and I would urge support.
Thank you. Do any other councilors have a comment or question? Ms. Fay?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I'm on that committee as well, and I completely support where we're going with our fee adjustment, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Then we'll call for a voice vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? The ayes have it. Next item is item D, the resolution authorizing the acceptance of easement to support an infrastructure improvement project on 1800 Asylum Avenue and 1710 Asylum Avenue. Without objection, I move that this item be set for public hearing at 5:50 p.m. on July 16th, 2024, and referred to TPZ. Is there any objection? There being no objection, the motion is adopted. Next item on the agenda concerns a corporate counsel from a corporation counsel to settle a pending litigation. Because we're going to go into executive session, I'm going to pass over this item and revisit it at the end of the meeting. Is there any objection to that? Hearing none, the item is passed over. Next, we have an application filed on behalf of SFWH Property Owner LLC, the owner of Special Design District Number 6, more commonly known as the Corbin Collection, to amend the existing SSD. Without objection, I move that we set this item for a public hearing at 5:30 p.m. on August 6, 2024, and refer it to TPZ, DRAC, the Town of Farmington, and CROG. Is there any objection? There being no objection, the motion is adopted. Move to item 8, which is report of town manager. Mr. Ledwith.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. First, in terms of upcoming council business, our next regularly scheduled council meeting is July 16th at 6:30 p.m.
Mr. Manager, it's 6 o'clock.
Oh, 6. Oh, that's even better. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. 6 p.m. Thank you very much. And then I will work with the chairs of our various standing committees to set our summer schedule for standing committee meetings. So those dates to be determined shortly. Thank you. On to my regular town manager's report. As folks may have noticed, on Saturday, June 22nd, around 3:30 p.m., and Sunday, June 23rd, at about 5:50 p.m., the National Weather Service sent a tornado warning to cell phones in the West Hartford area. Some residents have reported not receiving these warnings and wondered why. The National Weather Service sends out a wireless emergency alert during threats of extreme weather. A wireless emergency alert is an emergency message sent out by authorized governmental agencies through mobile carriers. No signups are required, as these are sent automatically to wireless emergency alert capable phones. These alerts are sent to cell towers in the area when the emergency is occurring, and all cell phones in that area will receive them. If a resident failed to receive an alert this past weekend that there was a threat of a tornado, it may be because they were not physically in West Hartford, they have a phone that is not equipped to receive wireless emergency alerts, they were making a phone call, the alert will not override a conversation. The phone was in the do not disturb setting, and some cell phones come with a wireless emergency alert turned off, or users have them turned off. Users should check their phones to make sure that emergency notifications are enabled. You can get more information about wireless emergency alerts at www.ready.gov/alerts. It is important to note that wireless emergency alerts are separate from the state of Connecticut's Connecticut Alert and West Hartford's Community Advisory Notification System. Residents should be sure to sign up for these state and local alerts by going to portal.ct.gov/C2alert and www.westhartfordct.gov/how-do-I-to/get-notified. These are all online in the town manager's report. You do not have to scramble to write those down. As we all know, the weather at the Pride Festival on Saturday, June 22nd, caused us to evacuate the area due to thunderstorms, torrential rain, lightning, wind gusts, and a threat of a tornado. 2 days before the event, we held an emergency weather planning meeting with town staff and event organizers. Our plan included weather watchers, storm tracking apps, and a cell phone call list. In the event of unexpected bad weather, the plan was to shelter people in the Memorial Parking Garage and Town Hall. Everyone left the meeting clear on what to do during an emergency. For the first time, we had to put that plan into action during a major event with hundreds of attendees and participants. When the thunderstorm came in, the event organizers made several announcements from the stage that the festival would be paused and that everyone should take cover in the Memorial Garage or Town Hall. Staff from the fire department, police department, fire marshal's office, and Office of Emergency Management walked the area, informing visitors and vendors that they should evacuate immediately. Most people had reached a place of shelter when moments later, the tornado alert came through. I wanted to bring to your attention the role that 2 town councilors played during the evacuation. Town Councilor Deputy Mayor Ben Winograd went into the garage with visitors and vendors to ride out the thunderstorm. When the tornado warning came in, he saw people leaning and looking out the garage's open windows, and realizing that during a tornado, this would be a dangerous location for people to be, and started making announcements that people should move to the lower basement area of the parking garage. He then directed and led a group to the lowest level, where they could be safe if it did happen. He asked people to wait until we got the all clear from public safety officials. Town Councilor Barry Walters evacuated into the town hall lobby and took control there. He was our communication link between the fire department, fire marshal's office, and Office of Emergency Management. When the lobby was filled to capacity, he moved people to the auditorium. Councilor Walters kept the group together, calm, and safe throughout the storm. Deputy Mayor Ben and Winograd and Councilor Walters' quick action and leadership helped to keep everyone safe and would have saved lives if the weather had become a catastrophic event. So thank you both. Would like to recognize Officer Timothy Camerell and firefighter paramedic Xavier Harrell, who were selected by their peers as the West Hartford Police Officer of the Year and Firefighter of the Year, respectively. Both were recognized by the West Hartford Exchange Club at its Public Safety Night on May 23rd. Many of us were there in attendance that evening. Congratulations to both on this well-deserved award. Very big news here. Chief Vernon Riddick Jr. was chosen by Connecticut NAACP as one of the 100 most influential blacks in Connecticut for 2024. He will be honored at a prestigious award ceremony on Saturday, June 29th, that celebrates the renowned influencers, recognizes community leaders, and honors industry trailblazers who often go unnoticed for their exceptional contributions to the community. Congratulations, Chief. We are very proud of you. On June 13th, 2024, the town of West Hartford was one of 147 municipalities and federal and state agencies that participated in a statewide emergency management drill to ensure a safe and secure election in the fall. Throughout the day, staff reacted to various scenarios, which included ransomware attacks, misinformation on social media, a fire in the ballot drop box, ballots tossed in dumpsters, drones flown all over polling stations, white powders and absentee ballot envelopes, and power outages. Staff from the town clerk's office, registrars of voters, police, fire, public works, emergency management, risk management, information technology, town manager's office, public relations, and the CERT team participated in the drill. The exercise proved that West Hartford is ready to address any vulnerabilities. Rest assured, the Department of Emergency Management and Homeland Security Deputy Commissioner stated that no specific or credible threats or risks are found for the upcoming election. This was only a drill. July 4th, municipal facilities, including town hall, libraries, community centers, senior centers, skating rink, yard waste and recycling center, and summer camp programs are closed on Thursday, July 4th in observance of the Independence Day holiday. Outdoor pools will remain open. Due to the 4th of July holiday, Trash B Week recycling, yard waste, metal, and bulky collections will be one day late after the holiday. And that concludes my town manager's report this evening. Through you, Deputy Mayor, happy to answer any questions regarding any of those topics or anything else you may have a question on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I did not know you were going to mention that, so thank you for that. I do want to say that the CERT team was amazing, and I'm sure Mr. Walters would agree that it was a big team effort, and everybody really pulled together in a tough situation. So, thank you to everybody who was involved. Anybody have any question? Anybody have any questions for the town manager? I do not see any. We'll go over to announcements, which I did not print out, but Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped over Corporation Council. I do know that we have an executive session later. Beyond that, do we have any public report from Corporation Council?
No, thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. I have no further public report. I will note that I am hopeful that after the executive session, we will be coming back into public session to vote on the resolution that was passed over earlier.
Thank you very much. Well, hopefully that will happen. So announcements, the food pantry is low. Typically declines this time of year and will continue to decrease throughout the summer, creating a challenge for the families we serve. The town of West Hartford appreciates our community's continued support in stocking the food pantry shelves so we can keep our neighbors from experiencing food insecurity. The West Hartford Food Pantry is low on these items. Please consider picking up a few on next time you shop. Cereal, canned fruit, canned soup, the large sizes, ravioli, and spaghetti. Next, the Gazebo Concert Series begins on June 25th. Come celebrate summer at the Senior Center's Gazebo Concert Series, which debuts on Tuesday, June 25th at 6 p.m. I think we missed it. With the American Legion Post 89 Band performing patriotic big band and contemporary music. Bring lawn chairs, blankets, picnic, supper, or snacks to the all-ages concert. But it will continue throughout the summer. All shows are free and held rain or shine. The rain location is at the auditorium inside the Elmwood Community Center. Please call 860-561-8180 with any questions or email the West Hartford Senior Center, WHSC@westhartfordct.gov. The prom, July 10th to August 18th, will run at Playhouse on Park. A troupe of hilarious, self-absorbed, fading Broadway stars shake up a small Indian town as they rally behind a teen who wants to go to the prom with her girlfriend. There will be a talkback with the cast after each Sunday matinee. Tickets are now on sale for the prom. Call the box office at 860-523-5900, extension 10, or visit www.playhouseonpark.org. Greater Hartford Shakespeare Festival presents Hamlet and the Taming of the Shrew. The Greater Hartford Shakespeare Festival will feature 2 full-length productions of Hamlet and Taming of the Shrew on the campus of the University of St. Joseph. To accommodate growing demand, Capital Classics has expanded the schedule to include 10 rotating performances of each production, running Wednesday through Sunday evenings from July 10th through August 4th. University of St. Joseph will be selling food and beverage 90 minutes before showtime. I have tickets to one of those. I think that was a Father's Day present. The second annual Bookworm Fest is coming to West Hartford on Saturday, July 13th from 11 to 4 inside and outside of the Noah Webster Library and in Blueback Square. The event features adventure and fantasy, live-action role-playing, tabletop role-playing games, board games, discussion panels, food, face painting, vendors, and music by the Penniless Jacks. All ages are welcome. Dressing up is encouraged. And finally, the Playhouse has announced its entire 24-25 season, theme of which is reframing the familiar. Join Playhouse on Park for their 16th anniversary season as they explore new takes on classic films, traditions, and stories. Shows include The Shark is Broken, The Ugly Christmas Sweater Musical, The Irish and How They Got That Way, The Baroness, and Singin' in the Rain. Call the box office at 860-523-5900 or playhouseonpark.org. Does anybody else have any comments? Mr. Ortiz? Mr. Cortez, you usually come next, so I'll include you in.
Thank you. So to piggyback on the first announcement with the food pantry, West Hartford United Methodist Church, we're hosting the food drive through Labor Day. So again, we're open. We have a bin, so it's available after hours, and it comes right back to the food pantry here. And just again, a reminder that the summer times is one of the most difficult times when it comes to food insecurities and having access to food. So think lunch items. A lot of the kiddos are not at school during this time, so keep that in mind as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Ms. Fay.
Yes, if anyone wants to know how the Irish got that way, just please give me a call offline and I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you. We will do that. Anybody else? Mr. Walters.
I have a couple things. I would make a challenge to Mr. Cortez over there about the food drive, but he has a whole church behind him, so I'm not sure I would win that one. But anyways, I do mimic what he had said, echo what he had said. In addition, I do want to say thank you to everyone involved with the Pride Festival, particularly those individuals that helped in the unexpected event of the weather. We had a possibility of showers, and that turned into something much, much more. So I do want to thank everybody, and in particular, I believe it was Firehouse number 2, who stayed behind after everybody ran away and helped break everything down and clear the parking lot of what was left. And they were of very valuable help, and I thank them very much. That's all.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Going once, going twice? We're done with announcements. And now we'll go back to revisit item 7E, which we passed over earlier, a resolution authorizing Corporation Counsel to settle pending litigation regarding Elizabeth Rosenberg versus Town of West Hartford. Without objection, I move that we go into executive session for the purpose of discussing strategy concerning this pending litigation. Is there any objection? There being no objection, we will go into executive session, and I would like to invite the Corporation Counsel, Deputy Corporation Counsel, and Attorney Tom Gerard from Howard and Lordoff to join us. Thank you very much. And again, we will be back afterwards for action on this item.
6:30. We're gonna, we've been making people positive, you just said it. You're still gonna have it at 6:30 because that's what the resolution says.
Okay, we're reconvening the public session of the town council meeting.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, I move that we adopt a resolution authorizing the Corporation Council to settle pending litigation, to wit, Rosenberg v. Town of West Hartford.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Dodge, would you like to discuss?
Yes, Mr. Deputy Mayor, and before I begin discussing this item, it's not germane to this item, but I do just want to let everybody know we have a couple items that we're going to need to revisit on the agenda that we acted on earlier to adjust some public hearing times to be better aligned with the start of the council meeting. So we'll do that after we dispose of this resolution, but I just want everybody to be aware of that.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, this resolution would authorize my office to settle Rosenberg v. Town of West Hartford, which is the pending litigation that we just discussed in executive session, in the amount of $90,000. Mr. Deputy Mayor's background, this was a personal injury case stemming from from injuries that were alleged to have occurred on one of our sidewalks in town. I'll give my usual caveat that settling this case does not represent any admission of fault or liability by the town, but for the reasons that we discussed in executive session, I recommend adoption.
Thank you. I'll call for the ayes and nays. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The resolution passes. And Mr. Dodge, if you would like to reopen those matters, you can proceed.
So thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. And just as background, the reason we're doing this is there had been some discussion with the town clerk who had indicated that the summer schedule for July and August had 6 p.m. town council meetings, but it's actually a 6:30 start. So we would like to recommend adjusting these public hearing times because I think in both cases, we don't anticipate them to be very lengthy, and we would try and prevent you from having to sit here for an undue period of time before we convene the council meeting. So the first item that I would ask for a motion to reconsider is item 7D, which is a resolution authorizing the acceptance of easements to support an infrastructure project on 1800 Asylum Avenue and 1710 Asylum Avenue. And so, Mr. Mayor, anybody can make a motion to reconsider that item. Upon seconding it, I'll explain the motion that I will recommend you make instead.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, I make a motion that we reconsider item 7D.
Second.
Without an objection? We'll
Yeah,
reconsider?
without objection is fine. Yeah, it's procedural, Mr. Deputy Mayor. So, Mr. Deputy Mayor, now that this item is reconsidered, our recommendation for this item would be to begin the public hearing at 6:15 p.m. on July 16th, which will be 15 minutes before the start of the regular town council meeting.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, I move that we set the item aside for public hearing to begin at 6:15 PM on July 16, 2024, and referred to TPZ.
Second.
Is there any objection? There being no objection, the motion is adopted.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. The second item that I'm going to recommend that you reconsider is item 7G. Is there a motion to reconsider item 7G?
Mr. Deputy Mayor, I make a motion that we reconsider item 7G.
Second.
Thank you. Without objection, so ordered.
Okay. And Mr. Mayor, for this item, which is currently set for public, or which you had previously set for public hearing at 5:30 on August 6th, 2024, our recommendation would be to set this for public hearing at 6 PM on August 6th, 2024.
Mr. Deputy Mayor, I make a motion that we set aside this item for public hearing at 6 PM on August 6, 2024, and refer to TPZ, DRAC, Town of Farmington, and CROG.
Second.
Is there any objection? There being no objection, the motion is adopted. And now, without objection, I move adjournment. Is there any objection? Hearing no objection, we stand adjourned.